Hello, welcome to the November meeting of the Homewood Board of Zoning Adjustments. Can we have the roll call, please, Fred?
All right. Ms. Childs? Yes. Okay. Mr. Alsabrook? Mr. Perkle?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Roberts? Mr. Gear?
Here.
And Ms. Hand?
Here. Has everyone been able to read the September and October minutes?
Yes.
Do we have any notes or objections?
None.
I call to approve the September and October minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. Do we have any communications from the vice chair?
None.
Great, there are no communications from me, and we'll move on to our new business. We're gonna go with SV-23-11-01, 800 Lakeshore Drive.
Hi there. I'm Julie Potter with Davis Architects at 120 23rd Street, Birmingham. And Salvador Garcia is going to walk us through briefly.
Great, do you mind signing in with your name and address, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Great.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing us or considering this request. The project is on Samford University. It's a student housing project. It sits just north of the UC, University Center. And it really is an extension of the first year housing that flanks the north and the northeast. This is a roughly 500-bed dormitory. And the request is to go, currently we're limited at 35 feet vertically, and we're looking to increase that by 23 feet. And the reason for that is just to maximize the amount of beds on campus to meet growing demand. The way the site sits, it does fall quite a bit. So in this illustration, we show that it's still 15 feet below Vale Davis to the north, which preserves some of that context. We're very cognizant of, wanting to maximize beds, but also still fit within the beautiful campus that is there and the architecture that's there.
Excuse me, just to make sure we're getting everything, would you stand a little closer to the mic when
Sure.
you speak? All right, thank you, I appreciate it, thanks.
Here it sounds really loud, so I was
Yeah,
trying to
no,
step back a little bit, sorry.
Maybe I'm already.
No. So, yeah, that is the request.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone here in the audience who would like to speak, now is your opportunity. Wonderful. Why don't you come up to the stand? Please sign in with your name and your address.
Okay, you ready for me?
Yeah.
I'm Brooke Gibson at 531 Curry Way. My husband Daryl is also here. We love Samford University. We've been neighbors my whole entire life. I think our question is, if this passes for the new height variance, is that setting a precedent for anywhere else on Samford's campus, or is this specific to this one building?
Each individual building would be reviewed if they request another height variance. They've gotten several height variances in the past for different buildings. Most recently, the addition to the sports
Mm-hmm.
center and the big
Yeah, the
Yes, I'm
scoreboard.
with you. Yes,
Oh my
you're good.
gosh,
That's good.
yes, scoreboard. So anyway, it's hard to look at the Samford campus and compare it to other areas of town or residential areas and the heights that would be appropriate there, just because it is so unique. But to answer your question, if there were another building that they wanted to build taller than is allowed, then it would be reviewed separately.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Was there anyone else who would like to speak up? Great. So we will end the public portion of this hearing, and we'll open this up to questions from the board now. I'm going to note here that Mr. Johnson is abstaining from this vote, so you will need 4 yeses, 4 approvals.
That's right.
Just want to note that in your renderings here, that you kind of show a flatter elevation, and you mentioned that the height is due to the elevation. Can you explain that a little bit more to us?
Yeah, so if you see within a courtyard, there is quite a bit of a grade change. So we will backfill some of this portion right here to create more of a flat plateau, because if we didn't, all that water would be dammed and going down into the foundation of the building. So there's a great kind of quad area there currently, and we are looking to kind of enhance that, encapsulate that. And so by leveling it out, we're able to control water, but then also provide a nice, we're still preserving the pedestrian pathway. So there's a cascading stair, and we're looking to enhance that and still preserve that connection from Phil Davis, from the North Campus, down to the UC. Does that answer your question?
That rendering
It does.
is that area, right?
Correct, yes. That is this area on the backside. So currently, all this grade just kind of slopes down, so we're going to level it out, should create landscape improvements within the quad, then also have that connection through the building. We're
The
calling it
reason I
up the
bring
stand.
that up is that you've taken into account of going lower to level things out to get to the height. And I know there's a variance requirement, but they technically could be higher if you didn't do that, if you didn't go below and get your elevation correct. Maybe I'm confusing you a little bit.
I'm not,
I
yeah, I'm not.
apologize on that.
No. So, it's not full 5 stories. That lowest level on level 1 is only on the south side, so their backside is not exposed. And then level 5 is only in the kind of at the gable portions, so it runs north-south. So it's not a true complete 5th story. It's really just on the 2 gable ends that are going north-south. I don't know if I'm answering your question
You are.
entirely. And so a big part of this is connectivity, accessible pathways. So by having it level, we're allowing students or general public to enter into level 2 at grade, and then also the same from the south at grade. It's a little unique since we're right on that hill. So you can enter it at level 2 from the north and level 1 from the south. And I think this happens quite a bit on campus in various buildings. I think also the business school is a good example of that, from my knowledge.
Thank you for that.
Curiosity question, this is intended primarily for freshmen.
Correct.
Where are freshmen currently? Are they just interspersed among all the dorms, or are there any, is this replacing a building that will be torn down now, or anything?
I can speak a little bit to that, but Jeff,
Okay.
maybe you're probably
This
best.
is- This
to
is
speak
in
to.
addition to Vale and Pittman, and
Correct.
Mountain View,
And Smith.
and Smith.
Sign in first. Good evening. My name is Jeff Polishek. I'm the Assistant Vice President for Construction and Planning on campus. And this building will get more of our freshmen back into the core. Currently, Smith and Vale, Megan, that you referenced there, just to the north, house our freshmen. But with our growing classes every year, most of the rest of those freshmen that can't fit have been dispersed to other areas on campus, which have kicked out some of our sophomores and juniors. And so this is a way for us to get our entire, roughly 1,000+ person freshman class back into the sort of the academic core of campus, which is critical to our functioning. So really, this will allow additional sophomores and juniors to stay on campus and also really create that freshman experience that we cherish so dearly. So,
What is the current student population of Samford?
undergraduate and graduate is right about 5,800 right now, approximately 1,900-ish in the graduate programs, and then the other almost 4,000 in our undergraduate program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move we vote on case SV 23-1101.
A second?
All right. And as previously noted, Mr. Johnson will be recused himself from this vote. All right, Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Ms. Childs,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes, your request for variant has been approved. Yeah.
I can give you a better version. I kind of got scribbly there, so.
Great,
make
thank
sure to share
you.
my information.
Next up is BZA case SV-23-11-02-305 Mecca Avenue. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Wayne Hester. I'm with Hester and Associates Architects, 2910 Linden Avenue, Birmingham, or Homewood. We are requesting a variance for a stair that from a new porch that we're constructing, and it will go into the setback at a level of over 5 feet. The owners would like to be able to use their large side yard for children, and so this stair would give them more access to that part of their yard.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, so if there's anybody here who would like to speak on this, this is your opportunity. And it appears that no one is here to speak on this case. We'll open this up to questions from the board.
What is the material of the stair?
The material is steel stringers with concrete treads.
Enclosed?
Yes.
Mr. Hester, did you want to speak to the uniqueness of the lot itself, which necessitates this variance?
Right. Well, our hardship is that
Yeah.
we have a trapezoidal lot, and the bulk of the yard area is on the side yard, and this is this stair will be going to that side yard and making that part of their yard more useful.
Mhm.
Mr. Hester, can I clarify just real quick? It's actually a rear yard. You have many rear yards, not side yards.
That's true. That is true. So we're right at the point where
So
the rear
you're-
yard and the side yard come together.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. So your request is actually for a rear yard.
That's true.
Variance.
That is true. That's right.
Okay.
Thank you
You're welcome.
for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Mm.
It is a unique lot, very many angles to it.
And a lot of topography.
Yes,
on
yeah,
that
you're
lot,
right, it
too.
slopes.
Yeah.
You're right. And as you noted in our pre-meeting, we did receive one email in support of the proposed project from the adjacent property owner located to the east of the subject property. So you do have that.
Yes, Mr.
That was emailed to you this morning, right?
Yes, we did
Yes,
receive that.
Mr. Wortley. Right. I'm sorry.
Move we vote on case SV 23-11-02.
I second.
All right. Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Ms. Childs,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes, your request for variance has been approved, and you have 180 days to pull your permit, but this does not necessarily mean that your permit will be approved.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have BZA case SV-23-11-03, 315 Oxmoor Road.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Zishan Yusuf, while he's filling out the paperwork.
Hello, my name is Andrew Grundy. Represent Sean here on the property at 315 Oxmoor Road. This is the lot, as y'all may know, that we purchased from the city. We purchased this lot, I believe, over a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We, to do that, we took down the billboard as the city requested, and for the sole purpose of developing this lot into new space for Logo Express, an additional space for Logo Express. If any of y'all have been in our shop, you know we're completely out of room, busting at the seams. We've grown our little small business in Homewood to an operation that's almost hard to handle at times. The proposed building will be a metal structure. The variances we're asking for are facilitated by the narrowness of the lot as well as the limited space that we're allowed. The variances I've requested are to bring the lot currently flush with the other buildings that we have on the corner there, just to maintain the aesthetic of that little corner in Oxmoor, and also to reduce the parking by 4 spaces from 21 to 17, and for a landscape variance as well, because once we build this building, there's not going to be a whole lot of room for landscaping. In proposal, in place of that, we intend to put planters, concrete planters in the front of the building to not allow for parking up front, off street, but not to impede the sidewalk continuation that we're going to have.
Great, thank you. This is a public hearing, so now is our time for public comment. If there's anyone here who would like to speak on this, now is your opportunity. And now it looks like there's no one who would like to speak on this in the public, so we will close the public portion of this hearing and open this up to questions from the board.
I see you have 3 different variance requests here. The last one you mentioned was the tree and landscape ordinance to be exempt from that.
Correct.
Can you, I guess, advise us why that would be a variance request as far as you could not be able to meet the landscaping ordinance?
So the building's going to take up the entirety of the lot, so there's not going to be any left space there. But in place of that, what we're doing is we also have the property at Nina's Cleaners, and there's going to be a curb and landscaping there. And so right next to the building, we're going to put a canopy tree, a Princeton elm or the like. So there will be a tree right next to the building, just not on the property.
Have you looked into what the landscape and design requirement would meet if you reduce the size of your building?
I have not studied that extensively, no. I know we'll need, I think it's 1 tree per acre. I'm not familiar exactly with the numbers. We could put some plants in the back, but like I said, we're gonna put planters up the front to have greenery up front, and we're gonna have a tree right next to the building, just not, on the physical property, but like a couple inches away.
Oh, so like when you're facing it, it'd be like to the left
So
of it?
when you're, if this is Oxmoor and you're facing the building,
Yeah.
it'll be right to, dead to the left.
Where the taco truck is right.
Yeah, there you go, Brian.
Great.
Pull those up. Yep. Can you talk from those, Andrew? Those photos.
Where the pole is probably.
Yeah.
Right between the pole.
Just after the pole, to the other side of our building. And there'll be, eventually, we're gonna have planters going all the way across, so, to prevent parking. So just on the left edge of that red square, almost at the corner, so just behind that shadow on the left edge right there, there'll be a tree right there.
Is this, I'm not sure, Kale, is this something that we can say, if this is approved, you have to have those planners that you have suggested? Is that something can be done?
I'd ask that a different way. So I haven't suggested any planners,
Oh,
to be clear.
yes, that is correct. You have not suggested
Right.
planners, but if they have said, we will definitely put in these planners, is that a stipulation that if you follow through on that, this can be approved?
Yeah, that could happen.
Okay. Just exploring my options.
Sure.
Couple of questions.
Sure.
The existing building is, I guess, a white stucco,
Yes, sir, concrete brick and stucco. Yes, sir.
concrete brick. You know, we've got Chase just on the corner, that's a new development,
Yes, sir.
nice landscaping.
Mhm.
The old Nina's
Mhm.
is being redeveloped,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
nice. And this is a metal building?
It's gonna be very nice. It is a metal building, but it's gonna have, structured glass. I mean, we're responsible for the renovation of Nina, so anything we do, we're gonna make it very, very nice. We just chose a metal building for not only the efficiency of the material, but also for the aesthetic.
But it doesn't match your building. Your
It will
existing.
match with the building, you know, so we are planning to redo our glasses in my building to match with that and have the same color scheme from corner, where the Chase Bank is, all the way to Nina's. I mean, what it looked before 3 years ago and what it look now, we played a major role in it.
Yeah.
You know, so this is my bread and butter. I wanna make sure
Right.
it looks good.
With all the work happening at Chase, you know, you have an area of asphalt and sidewalk between the street and Oxmoor. Is there a reason, right now, it's just kind of random parking? Is there a reason that cannot be curb and gutter, the sidewalk extended? Because the city's, you know, improving what y'all have done, or your neighbor with Chase, you know, they've got the sidewalk, all those, you know, your connection
Yes,
through
sir.
all 3 properties with the sidewalk, connecting the sidewalk, connecting the landscape. I mean, is there a reason we cannot put any landscape in the front,
We can do where,
not just planters?
Right, the main reason is, A, the expense of busting up the concrete. It's a major hindrance in the expense. And B, also because we're just outside of where the chalking is, the crisscross in front of our building. Just outside that crisscross is all the major utility lines, and they get dug up quite frequently in every which kind of way and manner possible. And so that's kind of like, I don't know, utility right of way, we call it.
good point, it's been dug about 5 times.
Landscape's easier to dig up than
Yeah,
asphalt.
right. And I also think if we had landscape there, it would be a continual maintenance with grabbing the trash that comes in from the roadway and keeping it prettier. Because all kinds of manner of trash blows in from that roadway into that lot. And I've been out there with a blow every morning, making sure our parking lot looks nice.
It just seems across the street, the Ace Hardware, the new development there, the car dealership.
Sure.
Palisades all has landscape. This corner, Chase has landscape, a lot
Sure.
of landscape, and it's just void.
Yeah, no, and we intend on making, landscape at Nina's equally as beautiful, because that's one of our projects too, and also, you know, kind of making it continue, the look continue into the new build, where we're gonna build the new building, but also to have a continuation of the sidewalk as well. So right now from Chase, you can come down the sidewalk through in front of our store, and then you're gonna be able to continue all the way down and through Nina's. So as far as having like the curb and gutter, I haven't had that, we have had that drawn up on Nina's, but I haven't had it drawn up in front of our building. But if you want to see something, certainly we're open to it.
I just think, you know, you're requesting a variance to delete the landscape, the requirements. So,
Oh,
you know, per code, there's nothing required. It will remain asphalt.
Sure.
So, I mean, you spoke about improving the beauty of it.
Understood. I'm not sure what the code is asking for on the landscaping, but we could definitely, I mean, we're gonna have the tree, the Prince Elm, right next to the building, so it's gonna be part of that building. We're gonna make it beautiful. We want it to represent Homewood in a good way.
And just like she suggested, if there's something we can work with Kale, you guys say, hey, this is what makes city happy. We're here for long term. We're willing to do that.
So we don't design anything for you
Right.
guys. So let me suggest this, and also clarify that the tree is on the Nina's cleaner side.
It is,
not on the-
an inch away.
One of the requirements of the tree and landscape ordinance for commercial properties is that the developer, owner of the building, engage a landscape architect to design the site, for them. So that, I think that might be a start. To see how much you can accomplish on the site.
I think it would be important to improve the frontage, providing that connection, what Chase has done around. And,
Sure.
you know, at this point, the front is just asphalt.
Yeah, but
Sure.
just the way this building sits on my logo currently, it's like grandfather sitting on the road. So it's gonna be quite challenging to continue just on that part. I know Chase, we had the building setbacks, and so I'm just thinking how to make that work.
Yeah, we can put, I think, you know, if we have a continuation of the sidewalk, to then bring out curb and gutter would impede on the roadway. I don't know how wide the curb and gutter needs to be to have that same continuation of the landscape you see at Chase.
I think that's why it would be really good if you could speak with the landscape architect and let them, I'm sensing that there's some concern, that the board has some concerns.
Okay.
I suggest that, you, consider asking for a continuance
Okay.
so that you can contact a landscape architect. Do you know someone who you can get in touch with pretty
Sure.
quickly?
Is there a way, I mean, just trying to be proactive? Can
Just,
we-
yeah, just for that item. I mean,
Yeah,
you could
can
move
we-
forward with the
sure.
other two if you want to.
Yes, I mean, that would be great, just so we can get it started, I can go ahead, get my project going, and we can put this contingent, just so, you know.
Yeah, if
We
we
can
get a
start
continuance on the landscape portion and the other portions we can follow
But it would
along
have,
with.
I mean, you would not be able to get a CO or anything until this part of it is
Sure,
resolved.
sure.
problem,
No.
problem.
Okay?
No problem.
Okay, I didn't want there to be any confusion. So if, I know that the board also has concerns with allowing a building permit to be issued without a plan.
Sure.
How long do you think it would take you to get a plan?
A landscape plan?
Could you have it by next month?
Oh, sure. Depending on, speaking to a landscape architect and their schedule. But yeah, so I can contact a couple and definitely I think they should be able to have something quickly.
Wonder, that seems like a great plan.
So just so I'm clear, and just for the record here, you would like to have a continuance on your variance C item, which is request for a variance to exempt from the tree and landscape ordinance, so that you continue that to next month,
Correct.
and you would seek a landscaping architect to see and advise what your lot can hold.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, they're gonna need to, read the landscape ordinance and follow all of that,
Sure.
okay? So they can tell you what you can put there and what you might need to
We've been
request.
advised of a couple that are familiar with the city code
Yeah,
currently.
okay, good. Okay.
And I just wanted to bring up here on your variance A request, to reduce your parking spaces to 4,
Oh, four.
a reduction of 4 spaces. In the previous Nina Cleaners, there was mention of a cross agreement between the restaurant and your Logo Express. How does that impact
Since
what you currently have?
we redid our parking lot at Logo Express, there's no longer a need for that cross agreement. We've completely redone the parking lot at Logo Express and had it professionally paved over and striped and added additional handicap spots, so we wouldn't need for that agreement.
As far as the restaurant that you currently preside over, there was a variance request for parking spaces there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
So, to kind of help to answer that, our business, we're busy till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Restaurant business, they're getting busy at 5 o'clock. So we will have plenty of parking. Mostly of our employees and us, we leave, so they can use from our location all the way to Nina's.
We also intend on terminating the Metro lease and taking that over space as well. So that traffic will be greatly reduced.
Okay, thank you.
And you do intend to combine these lots, right? Is that?
It's already
Yeah, the
combined.
intent is to resurvey these into a single lot.
Correct.
Wygan is,
Wagan is working on it and has had some difficulties.
I know it.
So he is finishing up some deed confusion and county confusion. He's
Okay.
getting it all taken care of.
Okay, but yeah, that's the intent, is to resurvey it into one, right?
So then the lease will be just with a single tenant?
Sean's the sole owner, so there will be no,
It's just for Logo Express business, yeah.
the existing building plus the addition?
correct.
And we have doubled the sales tax in the last 24 months. So with this addition, hopefully we can continue to kick butt, so.
I move we vote with regard to variance requests A and B only on case number SD 23-1103, reserving and continuing variance request C until next month.
I second.
All right. Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Ms. Childs,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes. Your requests for variance for points A and B have been approved, and you have 180 days to pull your permit.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any communications from staff today? Great. Then I will adjourn the November meeting of the BZA.